Tonight, jurors may be close to reaching a verdict in the trial of Spokane police officer Karl Thompson. Good evening, everyone. I'm Mike Gonzalez.
And I'm Nadine Woodward. Thanks for joining us tonight. Thompson is accused of violating AutoZem's civil rights and also lying to investigators in the case. KXOI4's Jeff Humphrey shows us what jurors asked for today that suggests that they are making progress in the case.
Today, after just 4 hours of deliberations, the jury said they wanted to take another look at the surveillance video taken inside this zip trip. More significantly, they wanted to hear again Karl Thompson's formal statement to investigators.
Karl, are you aware that this is being recorded?
I am.
Do we have permission to record?
Yes.
4 days after confronting AutoZem at the zip trip, Karl Thompson sat down to tell investigators exactly what happened that night.
The suspect initially had his back towards me and appeared to be reaching for something off a shelf. He turned around and I saw what he was holding.
Zem had picked up a pop bottle and was holding each end with one hand. Thompson perceived it as a possible weapon.
I'm ordering him to drop the bottle which he's holding at chest level in both hands, and he tells me why. And immediately I said, "Drop it now." I said it twice as loud.
However, prosecutors say Thompson's statement doesn't match what's seen in the surveillance video and contend Thompson was lying to investigators. Now the jury is asked to see the video and hear Thompson's recording so they can make a side-by-side comparison for themselves. It's a sign they're far enough along to have developed some questions about both charges. At the very least, the dual request is a sign of juror efficiency. One of the things the judge has told the jury not to worry about is what type of punishment Thompson will receive if convicted. Thompson faces up to 10 years in prison for depriving Zem of his civil rights and or a $250,000 fine. You might find it surprising. Thompson could get double that time behind bars, 20 years in prison, if convicted of lying to investigators. And the jury could have additional requests wanting to hear the transcripts of testimony that was offered during trial, and that's why the judge has told the attorneys in this case to always be within 10 minutes of the courthouse whenever jurors are deliberating. Reporting in North Spokane, Jeff Humphrey, KXOI4.
Jeff, thanks so much. City leaders have been preparing for the verdict in the AutoZem trial for the past 2 weeks.
Well, Spokane police and fire have created a plan just in case the public reacts violently to the jury's decision. KXOI4's Erik Loney shows us what it is.
Spokane police train for riots and out-of-control crowds. It's practice they hope they never have to use. But they are well aware communities have reacted violently to a jury's verdict before. It happened in L.A. in 1992 when thousands violently protested the acquittal of 4 police officers accused of beating Rodney King. Spokane police and firefighters have been meeting for 2 weeks, preparing a plan if citizens react violently to the verdict in the Karl Thompson trial.
We would rather be prepared for nothing than not prepared for something big. And so it's really just talking with city fire, local law enforcement, out the regional law enforcement areas, because if there is some sort of a civil unrest or disturbance, then we need to be prepared to handle it because we need to keep the rest of the citizens safe.
Police declined to get into specifics about their plan, but the department's well-trained tactical team has been notified it will be needed in the unlikely case of rioting.
So we want to be prepared for, like I said, the worst case scenario. Hopefully it won't occur, but hope isn't the greatest strategy, and we've learned from the past, from our predecessors and people across the country, that it's important for police and fire to be at the same table and be prepared.
Spokane police leaders are attending daily roll calls, telling officers that a verdict is close and warning them emotions could be heightened in the community. They're also asking them not to get baited in any sort of arguments with citizens over the verdict.
Sometimes people try to take out their emotions on police officers, and if it's directly related to the Karl Thompson trial, officers are just reminded to be courteous, to remain professional and really just not get into a big bickering match, I think is the bottom line.
Spokane police say they've received no credible threats or real indications anyone is planning to riot or react violently to a verdict, but they'll be ready if someone does. In Spokane, Erik Loney, KXOI4 HD News.